Batman Forever, 1995, is one of those movies that has had its share of mixed reactions. Directed by Joel Schumacher, it's a departure from Tim Burton's darker take on Gotham and its caped crusader. But what if we could go back in time and see the film the way Schumacher originally envisioned it? Well, that's exactly what the Schumacher Cut promises. An alternate version of Batman Forever that's darker, more in line with Burton's first two Batman films, and more connected thematically to the gritty world of Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy. Let's first dive into the original Batman Forever movie. When it hit theaters in 1995, it was a shift in tone. After Burton's darker Gothic take on the character with Batman, 1989, and Batman Returns, 1992, Schumacher's version went for a more vibrant, campy feel. Bold neon lights, a more colorful Gotham, and a lighter, more humorous Batman. A lot of fans weren't on board with the campy direction, especially with characters like Jim Carrey's over-the-top Riddler and Tommy Lee Jones' Two-Face, who took the comic book villainy to a whole new level. This movie was viewed as more of a spectacle than the dark, emotional tone fans were accustomed to from the Burton films. But the Schumacher Cut, which we've heard about through articles and rumors, aims to flip that script. First, let's talk about the fact that this new cut could bring back some darker elements that were initially part of Schumacher's vision, elements that were toned down in favor of a broader, more accessible appeal. Fans will finally get a look at more complex and nuanced characters. The Schumacher Cut could potentially reintroduce some of the darker themes found in Burton's films, like Batman's inner turmoil, Gotham's deep corruption, and Bruce Wayne's struggle with his dual identity. This would create a much smoother bridge to Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy in terms of tone and style. One of the standout features of the Schumacher Cut will be the way it explores the psychological aspects of the main characters. Take, for instance, Batman, played by Val Kilmer. In the original film, Bruce Wayne's struggle with his dark side was hinted at but never fully explored. In the Schumacher Cut, it's said that we might see more of Bruce's isolation, his unresolved trauma, and his growing disillusionment with his role as Gotham's protector. This would bring the character closer to what we see in Batman Begins, where Bruce Wayne's psychological complexity is explored in much greater detail. Additionally, there's the Riddler, Jim Carrey, and Two-Face, Tommy Lee Jones. These villains were played with high energy and humor in the theatrical cut, but the Schumacher Cut could show them in a more serious light. Rumors suggest that some of their more intense scenes, including darker motives and more psychological depth, will be restored. This could make them feel like legitimate threats rather than cartoonish villains that distracted from Batman's story. The Schumacher Cut may also remove some of the campier elements, like the exaggerated neon lighting, the over-the-top performances, and the humor that didn't quite mesh with the tone of the earlier Burton films. Schumacher, known for his work on The Lost Boys, 1987, wanted Batman Forever to have an edgier tone, but was forced to dial it down after feedback from studio executives. In the new cut, fans may be able to see more of Schumacher's original intention for Gotham City, one that's darker, more gothic, and reflective of the psychological conflict within its characters. But what about the Dark Knight trilogy connections? This is where things get really interesting. The Schumacher Cut of Batman Forever is rumored to include additional footage that could tie this movie more directly to the darker, realistic take of Gotham found in Nolan's trilogy. It's said that there may be elements of corruption, corporate greed, and a Gotham that's on the verge of collapse, setting the stage for the morally gray tone we see in The Dark Knight. This could make Batman Forever feel less like a standalone entry and more like a vital part of the larger Batman cinematic universe that eventually led to the Nolan films. The Schumacher Cut could also touch on Bruce Wayne's fractured psyche, creating a stronger through line to Christian Bale's portrayal of the character in Batman Begins. Ultimately, the Schumacher Cut is an exciting possibility for Batman fans. It's a chance to see a version of the film that takes the character seriously while still maintaining some of the style that made the original so memorable. It will be interesting to see how the darker elements are woven into the story, and whether or not the new cut feels more connected to Burton's Batman universe, or if it stands as its own darker iteration of Gotham. As for the sequels, Batman Forever was followed by Batman and Robin, 1997, which went even further into the campy, neon-soaked world. However, the Schumacher Cut could serve as a reminder of what could have been, had the darker, more psychological direction of Batman Forever been fully realized. For now, we're left to speculate on the final product, but one thing's for sure. The Schumacher Cut of Batman Forever has the potential to give us a fresh, darker look at Gotham's iconic protector and offer a more satisfying bridge between the Burton films and Nolan's trilogy.